Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my May and June wrap-up. So I didn't record a May wrap-up in June because I was not in the country, but that actually worked out because I didn't read much in May, and so now that I combined the 2 months, I have 11 books to tell you about. So the first 2 books I'm going to talk about are part of the same series, and that is Children of Time and Children of Ruin by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and these are books 1 and 2 in the Children of Time series, which is a science fiction series, and I have reading vlogs for both of these books in my channel that I will link in the description. So this is set in the future, like it's the case in a lot of science fiction books, and the last members of the human race left a dying Earth looking for a new home. And they find a planet that has actually been prepared for human life. And so they think that they have found that new home they were looking for. But when they get closer, they realize that the planet is actually occupied by another species. And in the time between it was prepared for human life, and now when they get there, it has kind of turned into humanity's worst nightmare. And so now the 2 civilizations have to basically fight and figure out who deserves this new Earth. And I really enjoyed both of these books. The world building was incredible in both books because we explore different worlds, I guess, different planets in the 2 different books, and the world building was incredible, and the science and technology stuff was also pretty cool. And the pacing was also perfect for me because there was always something going on, always action, but it was slow enough to explain the science and the technology behind everything that was happening and to just explain everything. Now, in book 1, I liked the characters, but as a whole. Like, I like the humans as a whole, and I like the other civilization as a whole, but not really individual characters, and that was the only thing that was like not perfect in the book for me, and so I gave it 4.5 stars. Now, in the second book, I actually liked the characters as a whole, but also individual characters in each civilization, and I really love this book, and so I gave it 5 stars. Okay, so the next 2 books are also part of the same series, and they are A Crown of Swords and The Path of Daggers by Robert Jordan, and these are books 7 and 8 in the Wheel of Time series, which is an epic fantasy series, and I have reading vlogs for these 2 books in my channel that I will also link in the description, and for the 6 previous books in the series as well. Also, these books are kind of when most people agree that the series starts being like slower, a little less interesting before it gets better again. And I have to agree. And also, I'm not going to talk about the plot at all because these are books 7 and 8 in a series, and I would have to spoil everything that has happened before. And I'm not going to do that, but like I said, I have reading vlogs for all the books that I have read in the series if you want to hear my spoilery thoughts. So in book 7, which was this one, the main problems I had were with the characters. Except Matt and Egwene, who I absolutely love. Everyone else I kinda had issues with, but I didn't have as many issues with the plot. You know, because it had one. But it was too long anyway, and I gave it a rating that I never give to books, which was 3.75, because it wasn't like a 4, but also it wasn't a 3.5, which I had given to at least another book in the series, so I was kind of like in the middle, so I gave it 3.75 stars. Now in book 8, it was actually the other way around. I actually enjoyed most of the characters, except that one character that I love was absent, and one other character I really hated, but everyone else I was fine with. Even like the main character who I usually don't love, like I actually liked him in this book. So I had mostly no problems with the characters, but it didn't really evolve a lot in terms of the plot, and I gave this one 3.5 stars. And I am still very much in love with this world and like the overall plot of the series. And yeah, I'm still excited to read the rest of these books, and I will continue to read one a month until the end of the year, which is when I will finish the series. So this month I uploaded a reading vlog just for romance books, which I don't tend to read, and so the next 4 books I'm gonna be talking about are from that vlog that I will also link in the description. And the first one was Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is a contemporary adult romance. And that is book 2 in the Brown Sisters series. And I have previously read book 1. So in this book we follow Dani, who is a PhD student, and Zaf, who is a security guard. And a video of him rescuing her goes viral and everyone starts shipping them. And Zaf is actually okay with the attention because that will definitely help with his charity. So he asks Dani to play along, and she does because she wants to sleep with him. But unlike Dani, Zaf is actually a romantic, and he kinda has a crush on Dani. And we just watch how things develop from there. And like, I don't even know how to describe romance books, so that was me giving my best. So I actually, surprisingly, really like this book, and I am kind of still in shock about that. And I mean, I really like the characters individually, and I also really like them together. You could tell that they matched, which is, I guess, what we look for in a romance. Also, apart from the romance, there was a whole other plot in the book that I was also really invested in. So, like, I like the romance, I like the plot apart from the romance, so I pretty much like everything in this book except for like the conflict when they like break up or whatever that always happens in romance books that I always find unnecessary. And again, it was unnecessary, but nothing that like really bothered me, so I still really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. Okay, moving on. I read Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman, which is the first book in a graphic novel series, and it's a contemporary young adult romance series, and everyone is absolutely obsessed with these books. So we follow 2 teenagers, Charlie and Nick, and they quickly become friends, but Charlie falls for Nick just as quickly, and so their friendship starts to develop into something more. And so, like I said, everybody absolutely loves these books, but I just didn't. And don't get me wrong, these books are like super adorable and cute and wholesome, and like it's all about the romance, but I am not. And it's not that I disliked it, I did like it, I was just not like excited about it like I was with the previous book. And like I said, it's all about the romance, it's pretty much the only plot. And since I'm not a romance fan, I kind of need something else to keep me going, and there was not that something else there. Again, I did like the characters individually, and I like them together, like I shipped them, but I was just not excited about it. And like I said in the vlog, this is not the book's problem, because like I said, everybody loves it, it's just a me problem. It was just, I guess it was just too cute for me, and I gave it 3 stars. So next book was To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, and this is the first book in a series with the same name, and it's a contemporary young adult romance series. So in this one we follow Lara Jean, who is a teenager, and she has been writing letters to all the boys she had crushes on throughout the years, and she has hid them all in a box. But one day she discovers that the letters are gone, and then she realizes that they were mailed out to all the boys, and now they are confronting her. So, first of all, I just did not care about the teen drama in this book. There was a lot of it, I didn't care about any of it, and I also didn't care about the romance. either of them because there were kind of two going on, but especially like the main romance, I really did not like the guy, so I really did not root for the romance at all. I did, however, like Lara Jean and her interactions with her family. I guess they were mostly cute and funny, and I did like that. That part was entertaining, but the whole point of the book, which was the romance, I did not care about. And again, it's not that I hated the book, I just wasn't excited. And I also gave this one 3 stars. Okay, so next book was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, which was a contemporary adult romance. So in this book we follow Lucy and Josh, but the whole book is from Lucy's POV, and they work together and Lucy keeps claiming that they hate each other. But it quickly becomes obvious that Lucy does not hate Josh at all. She's actually into him. And this is all in the synopsis. And so, honestly, there wasn't really anything I liked about this book. First of all, I didn't like their characters, and I didn't like them individually, and I also did definitely not like them together. Lucy was extremely annoying, even though she claimed to be this really sweet, perfect girl, like she really wasn't at all. And Josh was just, like, I don't even have anything to say about him because he was just boring. It was like Lucy claimed he was this really sexy, charming guy, but he wasn't. And like I said, I also didn't like them together because I felt like they were even worse together. And also, I did not like the sex scenes. They were like really awkward, and like in Take a Hint, Danny Brown, in which they were good. In this, they were just not. And I also didn't like the plots apart from the romance. Like, I really did not care at all. Also, the ending felt really, really rushed, which just added on to my non-enjoyment of this book. And it's not that I hated it, I just was bored the whole time, and I gave it 2 stars. But anyway, moving on from the romance. The next book I read was called The Apocalypse 7 by Jean Doucette, and this was a science fiction novel. And I actually started reading this book back in October of last year, and I read like around 100 pages, I want to say, and then I just stopped, but for no particular reason, because I was actually enjoying it. I guess I started reading other books, and that one was left behind, but I finally finished it. So we follow 7 characters who are actually, like, they call themselves the Apocalypse 7, because when I read the title, I first thought that was like the Apocalypse number 7, but it's actually the Apocalypse 7 is the group of people. And so those 7 people wake up one day and realize that everyone else in the world is gone, and the city has become overgrown by vegetation and overrun by wild animals. And to make things even worse, the weather is a mess. They have snowstorms one day and then heat waves and tornadoes the next. And so they come together and try to figure out what's happening. And that's when things get even more weird. So this book was definitely strange, but like my kind of strange. And the 7 characters had a very distinct voice, and I really liked most of them. And like I said, the plot was very strange, but it was also very intriguing, and it had a lot of humor. And the answer to what caused the apocalypse and how it happened definitely surprised me. So I really, really enjoyed this book, and I don't know why the hell it took me so long to finish it, and I gave it 4 stars. So next I read The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, and this is a fantasy standalone novel, and I have a reading vlog for it that I will link in the description below. So in this world, the forces of darkness have been banished 1,000 years ago, but they are threatening to come back. And a queen whose bloodline is kind of supposed to be the one to keep the world safe is being pressured into marrying and having an heir because the bloodline needs to be protected. and a mage is infiltrated in court to protect the queen at request from a hidden society. Also, the East and the West have been divided for centuries, and they are refusing to work together. And this plot of this book is very, very complex, and I did my best to try to, I guess, give a synopsis to it, but honestly, I don't know how well I succeeded. So in this book, we get POVs from 4 characters, and I really liked all of them. Some of them I liked from the beginning, some of them grew on me, but the point is I ended the book really liking all of them. Also, and this is something very unlike me, I was absolutely obsessed with the main romance in this book. Also, the pacing and writing style in this book were incredible, and I read this 800-page book surprisingly easily. Also incredible was the world building, how every different kingdom, every different region was very distinct, and it was really satisfying. Also how everything connected in the end. And there were like many fight scenes, but the last one, like the big battle, was so epic, and like the whole plot was so good, and I have no complaints about this book. I absolutely love everything about it, and I obviously gave it 5 stars. And again, if you want to hear my spoilery thoughts, they are in the reading vlog. And so we are at the final book, which is called 9 Lives, and it was written by Peter Swanson, and this was a mystery thriller. And so in this book, 9 strangers receive a letter with only their names on it in the mail, and none of them know the other people in that letter, so they mostly just ignore it. That is, until people in the letter start being murdered. And so an FBI agent who is on the list herself is determined to figure out how they're all tied together and basically who is behind the letters and the murders. And this was the first book I ever read by Peter Swanson, and I know he's like a pretty loved mystery thriller author, and so I don't know if I chose the wrong book to start or if this author just isn't for me, but I did not enjoy it. So I guess the main problem is I was bored the whole time, which is definitely not what you want in a thriller. And we got POVs from the 9 characters in the list, and that was a lot because we didn't really get enough time with any of them to actually connect to them and care, and so I really couldn't care less when they died. And also the pacing of the whole book was really slow, and the plot didn't move forward until the end, when we kind of discovered what was going on. And even that discovery was kind of underwhelming. And yeah, I was just really bored, and I gave this book 2 stars. I am, however, probably gonna read at least another book from this author because, like I said, he is a very loved mystery thriller author, and I tend to like that genre, so maybe this was just the wrong book, but yeah, I did not enjoy this one. And yeah, these were all the books that I read in May and June, and this is everything for this week's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!